This is the Samsung Fascinate LCD replacement.
Let's begin by removing the battery door and the battery. Now there are 6 screws, we'll need to remove those. Now you'll notice that there's a seam between the front housing and the back housing. You can just take your flat pick and just gently start separating those two from each other. Now you'll notice there's some flex connectors that you'll need to loosen from the circuit board, and this is the LCD. This is the bottom keys. You have the antenna. Then you have the camera and the ear jack. Now there is a screw located at the bottom right hand corner of the circuit board and the top left hand corner of the circuit board. We'll need to remove both of those. Now we'll need to make sure that camera is just up enough to where the circuit board will pop loose. Once all that's done, you can just wiggle it just up a little bit, and then on the left hand side where the volume keys are, you'll need to remove that from the middle frame, as well as the vibrator switch. Now we can remove the LCD from the middle housing. We'll start in the right hand corner of the device. Just take your flat pick and start separating the LCD. Once you can get your fingers inside there, you can start working down, separating the LCD from the middle housing. Now you will have to apply some pretty good pressure to removing this. And the reason we start in the top is because when we get to the bottom, we'll need to make sure that we're careful with the 4 keys. Now when we get down here, you'll notice that there is a flex connector that has actually got 3M to the bottom housing here, or the bottom of the LCD, and we'll need to be really careful with that so that we don't rip it.
Those keys actually have 3M adhesive tape on the top side, so they actually stick to the underneath portion of that LCD, and This is the same on all Samsung Galaxy devices. They all have this lower flex connector that you have to be real cautious on, not ripping.
Now we'll just make sure that all the shards of glass are actually removed from the middle housing, so when we apply the new LCD, we're not damaging it by a shard of glass that might be left over. And so you'll just take your thumb and just run it along the edges. Now once that's removed, we'll need to take the back ear speaker cover, remove it, and then we can put it back on the middle housing. Then we'll need to take and remove the cover that covers up the 3M from the back of the new LCD assembly. Once that's done, we can apply it onto the middle housing, taking the flex and putting it in its appropriate location. Once it's seated just right, just put a little bit of pressure on there, make sure that it's seated right. Now we can start putting it back together. Take the circuit board, make sure all the flex connectors are up. Putting the two screws back into the circuit board. Taking the back housing. Start putting the screws back in.